Okay, good morning, everyone. Thank you so much to the organizers of Intimate Convictions too. I was so looking forward to this in Barbados, but we have to stay safe. Today, I'll be touching on voting for homophobia, how religious groups are weaponizing the electoral process against the LGBTQ plus community in Guyana. Recent public attention has focused on the rise of small Christian based political parties in Guyana. But lately, a far more insidious threat to the human rights and the democracy of LGBTQ plus persons has emerged. And this is from religious groups weaponizing the electoral process against this already vulnerable group in Guyana. On December 21, 2018, a duly elected government met with a parliamentary vote of no confidence. This motion was tabled by the then opposition People's Progressive Party against the ruling a Partnership for National Unity and Alliance for Change coalition. This vote made history as this was the first time a government had been made to resign from office upon the approval of a no confidence vote. The passage of this motion meant the proroguing of Parliament and all parliamentary work would be placed on hold, including the extensive work that SASOD was doing on amending the Prevention of Discrimination Act of 1997. Only days before the no confidence vote, SASOD Guyana was scheduled to host workshops with members from two parliamentary select committees on amending the act. Unfortunately, no progress has since been made on this because Parliament could not convene until general and regional elections were held. The elections eventually were held. We had an electoral impasse for months. So we are now regrouping and reorganizing to engage the new government on this issue. In Guyana, homophobia is deliberately fomented by Christian religious actors as soon as they get the opportunity to do so. In particular, in crises, many religious leaders reach for the cudgel of homophobia and use it to attack people of different sexual orientation and their gender identity ferociously. This happened, for example, on June 3rd, 2019, on the day of the Guyana Pride Parade. A young child lost her life as a result of a road accident on the East Bank Public Road. An apostle who incites atrocities on LGBTQ persons took to social media to lay blame on the community and the hosting of the Pride Parade as the reason for the child losing her life. The legal war between religion and the LGBTQ movement will not culminate in an Armageddon, a final showdown. Neither side is poised to obtain national law, providing that it claims always trump the claims of the other side. Accordingly, the war between religion and the LGBTQ movement seems fated to drag on indefinitely in innumerable battles, both large and small. A little bit of what a timeline of what events took place that brought us to this place. June 15, 2014, Junior Minister of Finance supported LGBTQ pastor Ronald McGarrell's statement that all gays should be made to live on an island by themselves. The junior minister at the time was Bishop Juan Edgil. He's a religious leader and added his venomous attack on the talk show Hard Talk. He was the most vocal during the program and maintained that homosexuality from a Christian perspective is against God and the standards set out in the scriptures of the Bible. He loves the sinner but hates the sin, he quoted. He said the sacred text says it incurs the wrath of God, even as he pointed out that he has always been in the forefront of the fight to ensure same-sex marriage does not become a reality legally in Guyana. Even though the junior minister's statements were flagrantly inciting hatred and intolerance, a direct contravention of the Constitution, no reprimand of the minister was done at the level of government. August 22, 2016 to June 28, 2017, well-known pastor Nigel London of the Come As You Are ministries carried out a vitriol attack on SASOD Guyana, and there is where he branded me the wife of Satan, and its members and partners in a number of television programs that were uploaded to his Facebook, YouTube, Periscope. He used every possible platform necessary to spew the hate about the LGBTQ community and allies. He called for members and the staff of SASOD to be rounded up like cattle and thrown overboard. They refer to us as dogs and the like. September 11, 2017, SASOD Guyana and its managing director filed an injunction in the High Court against Nigel London. This injunction restrained Nigel London, his servants and agents, or whosoever from further publishing, disseminating, and circulating to the public and via the World Wide Web any information against Joel Simpson and SASOD Guyana. June 3rd, 2018, the Georgetown Ministers Fellowship put out a full-page advertisement in all the daily print media denouncing the Guyana Pride Parade, which was the first parade of its kind in the English-speaking Caribbean. The Christian ministers threatened to withhold their votes for the ruling APNU-AFC coalition if they gave any support to the LGBTQ community. November 13, 2018, the Caribbean Court of Justice, Guyana's highest court of law, hands down its landmark decision on the McEwen versus the Government of Guyana case. The archaic cross-dressing laws were finally struck down. Even though LGBTQ human rights defenders have made considerable progress, the Christian religious community continues to fuel the hate. December 21, 2018, a no confidence motion was laid in the National Assembly against the APNU-AFC coalition. With the passage of this bill, Parliament was prorogued and halted vital work SASOD Guyana had undertaken regarding the amendment of the Prevention of Discrimination Act of 1997. June 19, 2019, Managing director of SASOD Guyana, Joel Simpson, was the victim of a brutal homophobic attack, causing him actual bodily harm. Mr. Simpson was at a popular night spot when he was attacked by 6 men who just pounced upon him and beat him mercilessly because he is gay. Tactics applied by homophobic parties and their impacts. Electoral action. The most visible way in which homophobic groups have fought to gain a foothold in Guyana is through the electoral campaigns of explicitly homophobic, religiously based political parties. Emblematic of this strategy is the founding and electoral action of the People's Republic Party Guyana. The PRP specifically founded its campaign on principles that include moral values, traditional family values, and religious governance and leadership. Specifically advertised itself as a God-fearing party. The PRP and similarly newly founded political parties campaigned in the recent national elections by promising, if successful in obtaining seats in parliament, they would use these seats specifically to lobby against and suppress the LGBTQ community in Guyana. They also promised to revive prosecutions under colonial-era anti-buggery laws, which have not been used for any prosecutions in the 21st century. The explicitly religious campaigning of these parties is noteworthy and reflects the significant funding the PRP received from the churches, which in Guyana are not prohibited from engaging in political action. Thank you all.
Hating the sin, but loving the sinner. What garbage. It's a mask for their homophobia, for their hatred. Oh, I've seen it myself, you know. You mentioned the Pride March. Was it 2018? We had our first Pride March here. And the press, if you're here, you have some responsibility. I spoke at that. I spoke of some silly words written in a book. Of course, I was carrying a Bible with me, so they knew what book it was. That became, the Bible was a book of silly words, according to the press, even though they'd taken a video of what I'd said. But they perverted it. And of course, the pastors and reverends all called for my defrocking. Well, it got me on the internet. I've not got a Wikipedia reference yet, but maybe, who knows? But one thing occurs to me, and it's something I said yesterday. Isn't it time that in this Caribbean of ours, and I've been here 26 years, so I can say ours, we had an inclusive church? Not this denomination, not that denomination, our denomination. Well, think about it, Valini. Thank you for sharing all of that. And stay on, please, for the question and answer. Our final panelist is Daryl Phillip, the coordinator of Minority Rights Dominica. Welcome, Daryl.